So, when I was 7 years old, I was in second grade, and I was kind of an obnoxious kid. But one day I got put in the corner of the classroom because I was fooling around and not paying attention. Um, but then I started to drool uncontrollably until I started to fall over, and people could tell that it was not in my control. And so I was helped, and I was taken to a doctor and told that I likely had a seizure. Now, a seizure is where your brain starts sending too many signals to your entire body, that it's overactivity in the brain, that your body gets all these different signals from your brain and it can't act on any of them, that oftentimes just half of your body, in my case, just shut down. And so that was the first time reported I had a seizure, but it was not the last. There's nothing quite like it, and it's hard to remember something that you've tried to forget. All you remember are the details, what you were doing, what happened afterwards, but it's almost impossible to remember what it feels like. What I do remember, what was most potent to me, was that you can't speak. It's one of those things that, for some people, for almost everyone, you take it for granted that you can speak and people will understand you. And for me, it was incredibly frustrating because you can still think. All of the words make it from your brain to your mouth, but something is lost in transit and it doesn't come out, and no one can understand what you're trying to say. It makes you feel trapped in your own body. And that's something you don't forget. But when you're in fourth grade and you can't pronounce the word "the," people look at you differently. And you quickly find you don't like the way they look at you. And it makes you feel dumb because you can't even speak properly. This right here, the label, what's it called, that fancy drug name? Oxycarbazepine. Yeah. Some drugs, some chemicals that keep your brain moving at a normal pace so that you don't have a seizure. And it sounds easy. It sounds easy at first, but it isn't that hard. Putting a pill in your mouth isn't that hard at all. It's just when you're on it for 10 years and then one night you forget to take it, you may have a seizure or you may freak out and act differently. And you never know if it was because of the medication or not. That if you acted differently, does that mean that the medication makes you act a certain way, or vice versa? And then you start to worry that you depend on this medication to be who you are, or that you can't even be who you are because of this medication. Because I don't want epilepsy to be something that no one thinks about. I want it to be something that everyone thinks about, and everyone keeps it in their mind. because what we take for granted is being able to use that mind. And that's not something I ever want to take for granted.